There you heard Programs Officer for Media Foundation for West Africa, Kweku Krobia Asante, speaking to us on the operationalization of the Right to Information Act. Then away from that, Principal Research Scientist for Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, Dr. Kwejo Anson Asante, has detailed how the recirculation program will help educate the public on how to keep clean water. Now, Director of International Engagement from Lancaster University in the UK, Professor Kirk Simple, gave details to the course of the project.
So the project is titled Recirculate. So Recirculate project basically is to improve the circular water economy. There were 5 packages under the project, and I took one of the packages. That's a work package 2, which deals with water and sanitation. So initially, there were a lot of communities that we actually identified having similar challenges, but we needed to actually settle on the 2 of them. That's Madina Zongo and then Ubese, because they settle, or they actually conform to what we actually needed. And secondly, because of funds. So Madina Zongo was our control for the theory of change, and then the Ubese was where we did the intervention. So basically what we did was that we undertook drinking water sampling, and this was done across a journey. So we began from water journey 1, that is the point of water treatment, and then water journey 2 was the transmission lines. You know, in Ghana, sometimes people tamper with the transmission lines or the water supply lines, and so doing the contamination comes into the pipeline. So we also needed to know the quality of the water at the transmission line just before it enters the communities involved. That's the Bebese and the Madina Zone. So that was also sampled. And then when the water gets to the communities, you know, we have a stand pipes as well as a polytanks. So we also fetched from the stand pipes and then the polytanks where they actually store the water for use. And then from the polytanks, the water is also transported or fetched into barrels or containers in their rooms. So basically, we look at 2 things: the physical-chemical quality of the water and the microbial quality of the water. And generally, the chemical aspect of the water is good, but the issue has to do with the microbial contamination. And it's not surprising because of the way they keep the water in their homes. If you go to their homes, the barrels are empty, they keep the bowls or the containers in the open, and this is prone to dust and other particles. So all this contaminates the water that they drink. So a way of education, we try to advise them what to do. They regularly should clean up their bowls, the barrels, and even the polytanks that they store the water in. So we try to educate them on what to do to help improve the quality of the water. This is ongoing, and we want to rely on the youth that we have identified in the area. They are masters of change, we call them. So we took along these children through the sampling process and even brought them to the laboratory to see what is done, the kind of analysis that are done on the water samples. So these youth are who we are relying on to help change the behavior of the people in the community. You know, we are adamant to change, but I think continuous education, we hope to get to a certain level. And then let me also mention that one area or one objective we want to achieve is to reduce the incidence of diarrhea among children under 5 years old. So we also go there, we also take a record of those having diseases or those have issues with drinking water, and want to see that at the end of the project, this incidence of diarrhea is also reduced. So we have the records from the hospital to back what we are doing. So in a nutshell, that is what the package is doing. As I said, we have 5 work packages, and I'm only speaking on only work package 2, which is water and sanitation.
Okay. For how long have you been doing this research?
Okay, so it's been almost 5 years now, but the first year was more of administrative issues. So for technical aspects, we've done this for 4 years now. Yeah.
So the project is a large project. It's £7 million of funding. It pulls together numerous partners in the university, research, private sector, policy sector, and of course the communities that we're working for as well to support through the project. It has been running for 4.5 years now, and we're coming to the end of the project. And the purpose of the project was to develop a safe circular water economy that protected human health from problems of contaminated water, and therefore reduce or stop disease in communities, to use waste as a resource rather than as something that we throw away, to produce energy, because energy insecurity is a massive problem in sub-Saharan Africa. So we use the waste to produce biogas, which we can convert to electricity, and of course then we can use it for many, many different things. But as with any process, it produces its own waste as well, and that waste is called digestate, and we can use digestate in agriculture to produce food, instead of using the conventional inorganic fertilizers, which are expensive, sometimes difficult to access, and of course they're very environmentally damaging in the process of making them. So it's at many different levels that we're trying to develop technologies and information to help society at different levels in terms of waste, energy and food production.
You're still watching News Arena on OMI Television. Go for a quick break. Abigail Delalipoy returns with entertainment news. Please stay.